Hey everybody, it's Master Gallengeist here, bringing you my review for Avengers issue 16. And this was a pretty enjoyable issue because I liked what it did with Robbie and connecting us with other things going on towards the end of it, and moving Dracula's plot forward as well, and showing us why we need to be wary of the Red Widow and how it'll be interesting to see if they focus more on the Winter Guard and her role versus Crimson Dynamo in there. So we start off and we see what's going on with Robbie while he is in Berserker Ghost Rider mode, and that his version of hell is sitting on a freeway that isn't moving. And of course he starts trying to pray to pretty much anything to get him out, like Thor, God, and then he even starts talking about the devil, and then we see somebody riding up and having a speech pattern similar to the Ghost Rider going on. It's like, okay, let's see where this is going. We then switch out and we see that the Avengers are still dealing with Robbie in his uncontrollable Ghost Rider form and the rest of the Shadow Colonel's forces. So we see that Thor and Carol have been used as the big guns to try and take on Robbie. Thor even at one point delivering a blow so powerful that it takes off both of his arms, and him just kind of being on the fact that he's just bone and fire, he shouldn't be this strong kind of thing. And that Carol's like, come on, we can't really hurt him. We got to be careful about this. Whereas Thor's like, listen, he is in like a battle madness right now. The only way to get him out of that's the shock of pain. But of course, he then blasts back even bigger and badder than ever, gets his arms back, and they're trying to figure out what to do. Cap's trying to get through to him, but it's not really working. We've got the rest of the Avengers kind of dealing with what's going on. Blade gets into a tussle with the dog, and the Shadow Colonel's getting with his forces. The Baroness wants to go after Cap, but he's like, no, we gotta get out of here. The children are already gone. Let's just deal with this. But of course, she can't raise the other two who are fighting Panther and the She-Hulk. And it's just all kind of messed up and everything. We even get to a point where the Ghost Rider is doing the penance stare on Carol, but it doesn't really work on her that well. And she's able to kind of get out of it, but of course the Ghost Rider starts going on to his effects of trying to essentially blow himself up. But of course, that's where the Blade is done dealing with the dog, Sarge, and comes over and pretty much just sucks the sickness out of the Ghost Rider, which was a path that I didn't think that they would really take. He's like getting ready to become a like Ghost Rider bomb, talking about how he had done like Sodom and Gomorrah, done all these things with the Wendigo and the Luftwaffe, and talking about even Zedekiel. It was like Zedekiel. Yeah, there you go. And dropping all these names like, oh god, yeah, alright. But of course, Blade is able to get the sickness out of him, and he comes back to his senses and like, oh god, I'm really sorry. And in a really kind of cool moment, we see him like saying sorry to Cap and everything, and Cap just hugging him because everybody knew he wasn't in control. They had done something to unleash a very feral and Hulk-like version of the Ghost Rider, and Robbie had no control of it whatsoever. They even knew that he was still new to his powers and were trying to train him, and it's just seeing him just be like freaked out over that was a really nice moment, and to see Cap support him that way, it just showed the really good sides of both characters. So while this is going on, we see that the Winter Guard are interrogating Dracula. Dracula's like, listen, I got all this stuff in my head. I know of people who are pretty much under my kind of influence in your government. And the Red Widow's like, we've already got spy masters and stuff. And he's like, I can give you a lot more than that. I can give you the Avengers and everything like that. I was like, oh, okay. And what do you want? You want your throne back? He's like, no, I just want someplace to live out peacefully and quietly. And of course, this isn't completely kosher for the Red Widow. She's like, oh no, that's a fair proposal, but let's get a little bit better, because she had been killing a lot of vampires before. And then they start sending in all the consorts that Dracula's had over the years, and she just starts killing them. It's like, all right, you tell me everything you know, and they die quickly. And we see Dracula crying because this is even kind of even more sadistic than he would be, and it's like, holy shit. This Red Widow is being set up to be a pretty potent force, and I don't think that Crimson Dynamite is going to like that, because he is essentially the figurehead of the Winter Guard at this point, whereas the Red Widow is the one that's really pulling the strings and her taskmasters. So I'm really looking forward to seeing if at some point the Crimson Dynamo and a certain group of his Winter Guard decide to have their own kind of like internal Civil War thing, and if he'll go and ask the Avengers for help, or what's going to go on with that, because I don't think Crimson Dynamo would like this. I mean, Dracula was cooperating. He wasn't coming in with your usual Dracula swagger. He even came up just asking for asylum and wanting to live out his years. So, we'll have to see how that goes. But that's not the biggest thing that we end on. There's two other things that we get. We see that the Crimson Dynamo is pretty much like saying thanks for your help to the warden of the prison for holding Dracula because they've moved out of there. And we see that the prison's kind of returning to normal, but we see the rats. And we see that the Shadow Colonel and the rest of his legion are outside saying, yeah, we've done our part to call the weak. Now it's time to make some more vampires. And it's got Dead Man's vampire blood and starts turning like that whole prison of hardened killers and everything into vampires. And there's a pretty cool scene where you see one of the dudes with like wings and completely blood splattered. And of course the Avengers get the call of this, and of course Iron Man's turned back around. We also saw that Robbie was talking with Blade, and Blade's like, the writer never picks geniuses and tells him to get out because he's got people he cares about. And then we start seeing a little bit more of who Robbie was talking to, and we find out that it was the King of Hell, Johnny Blaze, Ghost Rider. I'm like, great that that's being going on, because in Damnation we'd seen that he had taken over the throne from Mephisto. And he's like, yeah, next time you come back down here, we're going to do more than talk. We're going to ride and hash out some more stuff. And Robbie is like, you know what? He was like the greatest Ghost Rider who ever lived. But I think that I'm more of a monster than he is. And I'm like, we'll have to see about that, because I don't think Robbie himself would be that much of a monster, but we don't know the complete origins and what's going on with his Ghost Rider powers, because they could be different. They're definitely linked to the Spirit of Vengeance and everything, but his completed form was not vastly different, but different than what we had seen other Ghost Riders perform before. So I would just love seeing him and Johnny just rolling across, talking shop and everything, and Johnny kind of mentoring him, because the greatest mentor that he could have right now is another Ghost Rider, because they would understand what he's going through. I love the Avengers for doing what they need to do to try and train him, but it's like, yeah, you'd really need Johnny Blaze to kind of help you out on this one. So I can't wait to see how that's going to be thrown into the mix and what's going to be going on with that, and how the Winter Guard's internal politics are going to start to affect this Vampire Civil War as well. So those are my opinions on the issue. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me. Also like and subscribe, and I hope you have a good day.